What's going on, Underworld crew? Today we got a new build for the Hunter. We're going to be talking about the Calibambam build. This build is one I've been using ever since I hit max level of my Titan. With this build, you can explode the battlefield with ignitions. You'll also counter all the champions with this build as well, depending on the weapons you use, so it's great for solo content. Starting off with the most important part of the build, Caliban's hand. Caliban's exotic perk Roast 'em, which makes your proximity knife scorch enemies that takes damage from it and ignites targets on final blows, as well as a 500% melee regeneration speed until your knife explodes. Now, if you're paying attention to the footage that you're seeing in the background, you can see me using fireball grenades because of the current artifact mods boosting fireball grenades, but this build will still work no matter the seasonal mods and cannot be hurt by them, it can only be helped. And with all that out of the way, let's talk about armor mods from top to bottom. On my helmet, I have a mobility mod, a solar siphon, and kinetic or stasis siphon to spawn orbs depending on what I have in my kinetic slot, along with ashes to assets mods for more super energy. My arms have a discipline mod, 2 grenade kickstarts, and an impact induction mod, all to get my grenades back to stats as possible. On my chest, I have another mobility mod, 2 charged up mods for extra armor charges, and a resistance mod of your choice. On my boots, I have a recovery mod, a stacks on stacks mod for 2 armor chargers every time I pick up an orb, along with an invigoration and innervation mod for grenade and melee energy recharge. And finally, my class item has a mobility mod and 3 bomber mods for even more grenade energy. Continuing with the build, you now have a choice to make between the incendiary grenade and the fusion grenade, since the other grenades won't work. If the rain, firebolts, and flare-up artifact mods ever come back, feel free to go back to firebolts. Currently with this build, before I decided to switch to firebolts, I have been using incendiary grenade, and once firebolts is gone, I will probably go back to incendiary grenade. More than often, you can't go wrong with fusion grenades either because they do track a target a small amount. So if you feel like you're having trouble getting those ignitions to go off, I would recommend a fusion grenade. But once you figure everything out and you're getting everything down pat, I would really recommend go to incendiary grenade because it does more damage. Man, like I said, at the end of the day, it really is up to you. Fusion grenades have a shorter timer than incendiary grenades, but incendiary grenades do more damage. Incendiary grenades and fusion grenades are also really good for PvP if you plan on using this in PvP, because this build can still be used in PvP as well. Now for some important steps to make this build work. As long as you get your grenade close to the target and throw it right after your knife, they will ignite. I repeat, throw your knife first and then your grenade. Now for abilities, I'm using Blade Barrage as my super, but you can use either version of Golden Gun. I just like to use Blade Barrage so I can get right back to making things explode. Blade Barrage also does a good amount of damage because of Knock Them Down. You should probably be using Gambler's Dodge to get your knife back, but like I said, the grenade choices are up to you between the two. Now back to the aspects. For my aspects, I'm using Knock 'em Down and Gunpowder Gamble. Knock 'em Down states your solar supers are enhanced. Deadshot Golden Gun has damage resistance, Marksman Golden Gun has increased duration, and the Blade Barrage launches more projectiles. While Radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refunds your melee energy. This is a great aspect all around for all solar builds in general. I just also feel like it's better than On Your Mark on this build. Gunpowder Gamble allows you to make a makeshift grenade after defeating enemies with abilities, solar debuffs, or solar weapons. You can also shoot this grenade to detonate it. The fragments that I'm using for this build is Ember of Torches, Eruption, and Char. Next season, this build will have some more staying power since Gunpowder Gamble will have an additional fragment slot, so you can slot in Ember of Resolve to cure your own grenade kills. And since you're ending your combination with a grenade, the ignitions count as grenade kills, healing you. Moving on to weapons, you don't have to use any set loadout. This build is very moldable. My only suggestion is that you use a weapon with Incandescent. I'm using CALUS Mini Tool with Grave Robber and Incandescent, but I'm also grinding for the recipe for BXR so I can craft one with Demolitionist and Incandescent, which would also be pretty good. In my kinetic slot, I've been rotating between 3 weapons. The Heritage Kinetic Slug Shotgun is what I use most of the time. I've been loving it since I got it, and I'm very up close and personal with this build because I'm still a Titan player at heart. If there are some areas that I need to lock down or there's a lot of ads, I usually switch to Witherhoard. I also have a Chill Clip Riptide just in case I need to be able to stun Overload champions and I'm out of SMG ammo, or SMG Disruptor rounds rotate out of the artifact. You can use any heavy weapon you want. I'm currently using a Commemoration with Killing Tally and Reconstruction. These weapons can be switched out to whatever you want depending on artifact mods during the current season. I just highly recommend a weapon with Incandescent. Now moving on to champions, this build can counter anti-barrier and unstoppable champions without the need of artifact mod. For unstoppable champions, you just need to ignite them, so do the average throwing knife into a grenade combo. Make sure you keep your distance though, because they will continue to run at you until they ignite. For anti-barrier, you just need to hit an enemy with your throwing knife first to become radiant, then you can shoot through that combatant's shield. For the gameplay loop, I play this build very aggressively, just slinging knives and grenades as often as I can to set off ignitions. If I'm out of grenades, you can dodge to get more energy for those, along with getting your knife back if you're close to an enemy. You can also cause the ignition if you have an incandescent weapon. If you kill one ad with an incandescent weapon and throw your throwing knife right after, they will ignite. It's so much fun just running around in the map and exploding everything with ignitions and gunpowder gamble. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the build. Tell me your thoughts about it in the comments below. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.